Have you ever pondered about the beliefs that might be holding you back from reaching your full potential? Imagine a garden. It's lush, green, and filled with beautiful flowers. Now, imagine there are weeds growing among these flowers. These weeds, they're not just ordinary ones. They are toxic, spreading quickly and smothering the life out of your beautiful flowers. These weeds are akin to what we call toxic beliefs. Toxic beliefs are those hidden, self-limiting thoughts that dwell within our minds, often without us even realizing it. They are the whispers that tell us we aren't good enough, the echoes of past failures that deter us from trying again, the insidious fear of judgment that prevents us from expressing ourselves fully. Just like those weeds in the garden, toxic beliefs can hinder our personal growth, obstruct our path to success, and prevent us from reaching our full potential. They can make us think that we are less capable, less worthy, or less deserving than we truly are. But here's the good news: just as a gardener pulls out weeds to make way for flowers to bloom, we too can eliminate these toxic beliefs from our mental landscape. The first step, however, is recognizing them. Think of it as an archaeological dig. We need to delve deep, sift through layers of thoughts and emotions, and identify these toxic beliefs. It's not always easy. It can be uncomfortable, even painful at times, but it's necessary. We need to understand that these beliefs are not intrinsic to us. They are not part of our identity, but rather unwanted guests that have overstayed their welcome. And once we identify them, we can start to challenge them, question them, and eventually replace them with healthier, more empowering beliefs. So, are you ready to dig deep and unearth these toxic beliefs that might be hindering your progress? Well, one of the most common toxic beliefs is the fear of failure. It's that creeping sense of dread that sneaks up every time you dare to dream big, whispering in your ear that you're not cut out for it, that you're destined to fail. This fear is more than just a minor nagging worry. It's a debilitating belief that can hold you back from reaching your full potential. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, yearning to explore what lies beyond the horizon. But instead of setting sail, you're paralyzed by the fear of the unknown, the fear of failing. That's what the fear of failure can do to you. It can keep you tethered to the shore, preventing you from taking the risk of venturing into the open sea of opportunities. But here's the truth. Failure is not something to be feared, but to be embraced. It's an integral part of the learning process. Think of the most successful people you know. Do you think they reached their pinnacle without experiencing any setbacks? Most likely not. They've stumbled, they've fallen, and they've failed. But instead of letting their failures define them, they use them as stepping stones to climb higher. So how do you overcome this fear of failure? Start by reframing your perception of failure. Instead of viewing it as a dead end, see it as a detour pointing you in a new direction. Understand that failure is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a sign that you're pushing your boundaries, that you're growing. Next, cultivate resilience. When you stumble, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Learn from your mistakes, adjust your strategy, and try again. Remember, every failure brings you one step closer to success. And finally, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when you fail. Instead of beating yourself up, give yourself the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend. Remember, failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of the journey to success. So cast off your fear, set your sails, and embark on your voyage towards your dreams. Don't let the fear of failure anchor you down. Let it be the wind that propels you forward. Another prevalent toxic belief is thinking that you are not good enough. This belief, like a weed, has a way of spreading its roots deep into our minds, coloring our perception of ourselves and the world around us. It's a belief that can cripple our ability to strive for our dreams, to take risks, to grow. It can lead to a paralyzing self-doubt that hinders self-improvement and personal growth. Imagine for a moment a tiny seed. This seed, given the right conditions, sunlight, water, and nutrient-rich soil, has the potential to grow into a mighty tree. The tree doesn't question whether it's good enough to grow, it simply does. But what if that tree, while still a seed, started to believe it wasn't good enough to grow, that its branches wouldn't be strong enough, that its leaves wouldn't be green enough, that its roots wouldn't be deep enough? This belief would hinder its growth, stunting it before it could even begin to reach its potential. This is what the belief of not being good enough does to us. It stunts our growth, keeps us small, prevents us from reaching our full potential. But just like the tree, We have the ability to grow, to reach for the sky, to become the best versions of ourselves. And the first step towards this is overcoming the belief that we're not good enough. How do we do this? By fostering self-love and confidence, by acknowledging our strengths and embracing our weaknesses, by understanding that we're a work in progress, and that's okay, by realizing that our worth is not determined by external factors, but by who we are inside, by recognizing that we are unique and that uniqueness is something to be celebrated, not shamed. Remember, the only person you need to be good enough for is yourself. So let's start believing in our own worth. Let's start nurturing that seed within us, giving it the love, respect, and care it needs to grow into a mighty tree. You are enough just as you are. Don't let anyone, including yourself, convince you otherwise. The third toxic belief is the need for approval from others. It's a belief that's been ingrained in us from a young age. We're taught to seek praise, to crave approval, to yearn for validation. It's a natural human instinct, but when it becomes a constant need, it can hold us back. It's like a puppeteer's strings, pulling us in directions we may not want to go, forcing us to dance to tunes we don't enjoy. We become dependent on the opinions of others, letting their views shape our self-perception, our self-worth. We wear masks, play roles, all in the pursuit of validation. We twist and contort ourselves into shapes pleasing to others, often losing sight of who we truly are. Now, there's nothing wrong with valuing the opinions of those we respect. But when we start to hinge our self-worth on the approval of others, we're stepping into dangerous territory. It's like building a house on shifting sands, constantly unstable, ever in danger of collapsing. But there's a way to combat this toxic belief. It's a two-pronged approach, developing self-reliance and fostering self-acceptance. Self-reliance is about trusting in your abilities, in your judgment. It's about knowing that you can handle whatever life throws at you. It's about realizing that you are the captain of your ship, the master of your fate. And then there's self-acceptance. This is about embracing who you are, warts and all. It's about acknowledging your strengths and your weaknesses, your triumphs and your failures. It's about accepting that you're not perfect, and that's okay. By developing self-reliance and fostering self-acceptance, you can break free from the need for approval. You can start to value your own opinion above all others. You can start to see your worth not as something that's determined by others, but as something that comes from within. Your worth does not depend on others' approval. Believe in yourself. You have the power to define your own worth, and when you do, you'll find that you're more than enough. So, what have we learned about toxic beliefs? Toxic beliefs are those self-inflicted lies and misconceptions that hold us back from reaching our full potential. They are the unseen chains that bind us, the invisible walls we unknowingly construct around ourselves. These toxic beliefs are incredibly detrimental to our personal growth and overall happiness. They can limit our ability to experience life fully, to seize opportunities, and to build meaningful relationships. Firstly, we delved into the fear of failure, a toxic belief that can paralyze us from taking action. This belief is born out of the misconception that failure is a reflection of our self-worth. It's important to remember that failure is not a definition of who you are, but rather a stepping stone towards success. Overcoming this fear involves embracing failure as a learning opportunity and understanding its essential role in the path towards success. Next, we tackled the belief that we're not good enough. This belief often stems from past experiences and societal pressures. It's the voice in our heads that tells us we don't measure up, that we're not smart enough, talented enough, or simply enough. Overcoming this belief involves practicing self-acceptance, self-love, and realizing that our worth is not defined by external validation. Thirdly, we discussed the need for approval, a belief that our worth is determined by others' opinions of us. This belief can lead us to compromise our values and desires for the sake of pleasing others. To overcome this, we must learn to validate ourselves, to appreciate our own worth, and to understand that it's impossible to please everyone. So it's clear that toxic beliefs, whether it's the fear of failure, the belief that you're not good enough, or the need for approval, can have a profound impact on our lives. But remember, they are not permanent fixtures. They can be unlearned, challenged, and replaced with empowering beliefs. Challenge your toxic beliefs, replace them with empowering ones, and watch as you unlock your true potential.